Who doesn't like making money from something they love doing, like a hobby? I've been doing it for the past 2 decades.
Yeah, in this video, we're talking about living the dream and making money from mountain biking. Okay, let's start with the obvious one, because we've both got experience. Start with being a pro rider.
Yeah.
Blake, start with you. How long were you a pro rider and how did it start out?
Oh, I was a pro for over a decade, and it all kicked off because as a youngster, you really wanted a free bike, you wanted a free helmet, you wanted a free kit. You didn't really want to spend your own money on stuff that you're going to break. So I put in all the time into training to perfect all those tricks and a good solid run. Hit my first competition, which was a local one. It was King of Dirt in the UK, and I went there and it was my debut. No one knew who I was, and I just put down a good run, got spotted, and from there it was history. I did a number of photos to get out there and a CV, and I got picked up by DMR.
So we did it separately. You were a free rider. I was a racer, but similar kind of thing. We were the old days before social media and all that. For me, racing, obviously it was all about race results. I started young, I built, you know, like I said, same as you, riding all the time, started to get better, and then the sponsorship built. I didn't all of a sudden turn pro. I got a bit of support, got lent bikes and then given bikes and kit and everything, until eventually in 2000 I was offered a paycheck. And then I was pro 15 years, but even then I started off on a small paycheck.
Yeah, a very small one.
I never got very big. Blake, what was the most you got paid for being a pro rider?
Oh, it's quite controversial, but no, I did. I got paid roughly about 55 grand at the end.
That was good.
That was good. But that was an accumulation of bonuses stuck in there and multiple sponsorships. That's why you see loads of logos on sponsored riders, because each individual one will give you a little pay check, and that all goes into a pot which accumulates over a number of months and years. And the harder you work, the more you get. The harder you give, the more you give to a sponsor.
Very good at it. Very good at it, Blake, as well. Obviously, I kind of almost got there, but that was during my later years. Not just from sponsorship, I became semi-pro, and then I did mountain bike coaching as well. So yeah, I earned similar, I guess, in those later days.
So one thing to take away from number one is it doesn't come easy. It comes with a lot of hard work.
And I've got a lot of friends that were as good as me, but for whatever reason didn't quite make it. So yeah, it's not an easy route to follow.
Number two, being a creator. Now, one thing I took away from being a professional was that it wasn't all about the competitions. I started to enter the world of being a creator, start to create some video content, some editorial content, because there's more to say about promoting the products that you ride for or promoting yourself via video than it is doing it by a competition. Because if you're in a comp, you need to be at the top to be noticed. Whereas in the video and the power of social media, you can get yourself out there a lot quicker and you get a lot more notice from brands out there, so you can become a pro. And you don't have to do that by sending it in a competition. Now, there's one thing to be said about if you're friends with a professional, you can go out there, help them create content, and in return, they can help film yourself and get mentioned, build your profile that way. Now, when it comes to being an amateur creator, you think you need to go out there and spend a lot of thousands of pounds on kit to film yourself. No, not really. All you need is your mobile phone, maybe an action camera so you can stick it on yourself. But one of the most important things is audio. Having really good audio in your videos is definitely going to boost your content so people can engage with sounds and stuff that's going on. All the sounds that your bike would make whilst you're going down the trail. But it's not just about the bike and the riding, it's also about your voice. You got to express that voice of yours. Make sure people can hear it. If it's windy out there, you don't want to hear this and trying to talk and stuff. No, good audio is key, especially if you're a vlogger.
Now, some people can make money by buying and selling parts. I think if you buy the right bike for cheap enough, and actually you can make money by selling it as parts. However, you've got to have the knowledge for what you're looking for, but also the skills to sort of clean and maintain these things and then market them. Places like eBay or Facebook Marketplace. Obviously, don't forget there are some costs involved with things like eBay.
Yeah, exactly. Now, if you've got some friends in the professional industry and that are pro riders, they want to get rid of their kit at the end of the season, and they come with a lot of kit. So you could ask them if you could sell all of their excess kit on the interweb and take a small cut. Now, if they're being generous, they could probably offer you up to 20% of a cut of what you sell for them.
However, I think this one probably is all about making a bit of pocket money. Maybe you're not going to make a full-time living by buying and selling bike parts.
However, I do have a friend on the Isle of Wight who started scouting for parts, which did exactly this. Would get everyone's spare parts, put them in a big jumble sale, sell them on the internet, get a small cut from everyone, but then he moved on and he started up Tie Springs. So it can be done. You can make your fortunes on the interweb, but it's really hard work. You finished with your bike?
Nice, my bike.
All right. I wouldn't get off. I think the Olens will go really well on eBay.
The world of the influencer, a bit like being a professional athlete, now there's a much greater range of mountain bikers. You don't have to compete, but you can actually harness things like social media and YouTube to make a living.
The hard thing about it is trying to find something that's a little bit different, something interesting for someone to watch, like you beautiful viewers out there. Now, for the likes of Matt Jones and Sam Pilgrim, yes, they are pro riders and they do get paid to ride their bike, but they're finding other avenues of finding an income by using YouTube for their ad revenue, or doing adverts on YouTube, social media, using Instagram for ads as well, getting paid from that different avenue. It's all places where they can make their money. Also, another one is merchandise, is another great one. When you've built such a big profile, it's quite simple to just build up a brand, like a clothing, a t-shirt, socks, gloves, whatever, you name it. They can sell it via their social media and via all their video contents as well, by wearing it. So there's all different avenues where you can make money, but to get to the top is really hard. But the main thing is finding something that's a little bit different, but unique to you beautiful viewers.
Many pros and influencers actually can supplement their income with these micro brands that can start off with just selling things like socks or grips or even stickers, but actually some of the bigger names will use dropship services to actually sort of produce and package what they're selling, and they can have big ranges of things like clothing, all sorts of things, and they're using the goodwill that's associated with them, their brand, their following, to sell lots of merchandise and actually make lots of money. There used to be quite a deep field of writers and journalists working for magazines, but unfortunately that market is in decline. However, of course, there are things like websites, but that does feel like quite a small club and quite a hard market to get into.
Now, one way of getting money out of the industry is being a mechanic, be it as working in a bike shop or being a pro race mechanic. Now, with the industry nowadays, bike shops still make money by fixing customers' bikes, selling bikes, working on different kinds of bikes. And one good thing about working for a local bike shop is that they can put you through training, and also you get a nice glimpse into marketing. Another one is working from home or on the road. So in your shed, in the house, or out the back of a van. But you got to take note, you need the tools for that, you need the knowledge, and you need some cycle industry inside to get some trade accounts so you can get cheaper cost parts for the bike that you'll be servicing. You could be quite specialist, like working on suspension out the back of your van at some local races, set up a tent, maybe go to a bike park. You can work on people's suspension there or out the back of your house as well. Or you could just build wheels at home and give them to customers. Online sales is perfect. Or you can do dream builds for customers. They give you a wish list, you go out there, you spend their money, and they pay you for building the bike. Doesn't come very often, but it could pay well.
Now this one is probably quite niche, but some pro riders set up their own teams. So this is probably left the most experienced riders. They go out there, they don't want to be riding for a team where the destiny of their living is in the hand of a team manager. So they take that into their own hands. They go and do the sponsorship deals themselves, get a team to come and ride for them. However, I think this is best left for the most experienced riders and business people. And I'll say having a good accountant is going to be very important. Setting up your own bike company, this one feels like it's a dream for many people, but it's super hard to do. How are you going to make your bike different to everyone else's, but also that they're going to want it. Tech's moved on so much now. How are you going to do it?
I don't know. You're going to build in your shed and build a crab. Do you want a crab?
No, I don't. Thank you very much. We've seen brands like YT, like disruptive, cool brands that have built this thing where it's a different business model as well, direct to customers, so they can make it cheaper.
Yeah.
Like super high-end, innovative brands like Atherton that make these customizable tech bikes that people can choose how they want them, or even big brands like Canyon that have completely overhauled their bike range to become massive brands. How are you going to compete with that?
Do it in your shed and build a crab. Do you want a crab, Neil?
I don't want a crab. Where's the gap in the market? I'm not sure I'd ever have the courage to launch a bike brand.
Nor do I, but you invent something, Neil.
Now, the one that always comes to mind for me is something like the Crud Catcher, the original mudguard from the 90s that cost pennies to make and could be sold for, I don't know, £20. Arguably nowadays there's more brands offering mudguards that could do something a little bit better.
Yeah.
But Crud Catcher was there at the right time, at the right place, and famously made millions out of it as well.
Exactly. Or thinking out of the box, getting rid of a bottle cage and using magnets to hold your bottle on your bike.
Genius.
But I have invented something coming very soon, which is a huge gap in the market.
Yeah.
And can be quite catastrophic if it fails.
Catastrophic?
Yeah.
Or do you mean disruptive? This
Either both.
teaser for what Blake has invented, I actually know something about this. It's quite impressive. I'm not sure you're going to make millions out of it. How do you feel about it?
I can see million signs in my eyeballs.
Really?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Anyway, there's as big as the market is, there is tiny gaps within it. If you can find them, you could potentially make a lot of money in the industry.
There
It's
you go.
finding them.
Some of our ideas. I've actually got, other friends. I know someone who owns a bike shop. I know someone that does the catering for a big factory racing team. I know coaches, I know pros.
Yeah, we know a few. I know pros, I know you. We work in the industry.
There must be something else we haven't thought of, another way of making money out of mountain biking, but let us know in the comments down below if you're in the industry and we've forgotten it, but we can inspire people to get involved.
They probably work in the factory that make the tyres.
Yeah, that's a good idea.